All right, let's go to the outer suburbs. I make the point, I only know one person in my immediate family and friend group who lives in the inner city. Everybody I know lives in the commuter belts of Melbourne or regional Victoria. And these are absolutely in play. I mean, this is where the election will be won or lost in Victoria and New South Wales. You and I talk about this. Interesting to see the PM out in Sunbury. This is the seat of Hawke. It's notionally safe Labor. It's a 7.6% seat. It says a lot to me that Labor's there, that the PM's repeatedly in Victoria, and people on both sides are telling me places like Hawke are absolutely in play.
Yeah, we've got some data coming out for News Corp on the weekend that probably will put some more, apply some more evidence to what you're talking about, and that is that the election is going to be determined in New South Wales and Victoria, and Victoria is a big problem for the Labor Party. The brand, Labor brand, both at a state and federal level in Victoria, is in the toilet, and the swings are going to be significant. Now, the question is, how many seats is that going to cost Albanese? We don't know yet. I'm pretty confident they're going to lose seats in Victoria. I'm not sure how many.
Talk to me about the Teals. There were some reports out today that said Allegra Spender in particular on track to hold the seat of Wentworth. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I was over in Curtin not so long ago. This is in WA, 1.3% there. My sense of it is that seat's absolutely likely to go Liberal if it keeps moving the way it's moving. It's a bit of a mixed bag across the board, though, with the others. How do you see the Teals playing out?
Yeah, you're right. So if we go to Perth in Curtin, this federal seat of Curtin, Cheney had the lowest primary vote out of all the independent Teals that in 2022. Again, yes, if we were to pick a seat which is going to go back to the coalition, it would be that seat. There's obviously also Goldstein in Victoria. Again, that Middle Eastern conflict is playing into this election in many, many ways, not just with the Greens, but also with the independents. So that Jewish community, we know even progressive Jewish Australians in that seat are choosing to vote for the Liberal Party. So again, that may have an impact. So I think that we'll see possibly at most 2 seats lost back to the coalition, and then of course do the independents win a seat like Bradfield? So that we don't know yet, but that's, again, we probably will see an exchange of seats here and there, but on the edges, nothing quite substantial though.
Hey, just quickly, I want to touch on this before we go. We say, young women don't vote for the centre-right side of politics. That's not the case in Germany. Certainly wasn't the case in the United States, but there were some really interesting stats coming out of the election race in Germany. Talk us through particularly the demographics on young people.
Absolutely. It's a misconception to say that young women are only going to vote for the parties of the left. If they're living in certain parts of, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in this country or in the US, so professional women in this country, for example, in the inner parts of Melbourne and Sydney, absolutely, voting for the parties of the left, no question about that. But when we go to the outer suburbs and we're talking about women in their 30s having kids, and we've got some data coming on that in the next couple of weeks during the campaign, which illustrates this, visually illustrates it, that women are not what people think they are, as in progressive voters and chomping at the bit to basically vote against the coalition. That's not the case at all. They are the ones suffering the most from the cost of living crisis. They've got kids, they're taking on extra jobs, extra hours at work, they're stressed, they are depressed because they can't spend as much time with their kids as they used to in the past. They're stuck in traffic. Again, the Labor Party was announcing some road infrastructure upgrades today in Victoria. Good reason for that. You're stuck in hours in traffic. That's going to hit women the most. So yes, young women in the outer suburbs and regions, they are definitely not voting in accordance with their counterparts in the inner parts of our large cities, and that obviously applies in Europe as well.
I might just add before we go, what clown, knowing all of that, knowing that the mums with the pusher are trying to get the train into town, what clown would build a $200 billion rail line and only put one commuter car park along that line? What, you're supposed to walk 4 or 5 kilometres with 2 kids and a pram and you're shopping back to your house to get on the train? It's nuts. I'll leave it there. Thanks, Cos. Catch up soon.